I just wish it was finished. I wish it was like they just
Yes.
took the product to market. It's like those pictures they have where it's like a drawing of a horse and it starts, it's like really detailed. And then at the end, it's just like a kindergartner drew it because they were rushed to finish. That's what this feels like. They started this really detailed idea
Totally.
and then they had to sell it. And it's like popsicle sticks and cotton
Yeah,
balls
it
glued
kind of
together.
makes you wonder like what it's like to work at the company. It's probably insane. Hello.
Hi, Tiffany. How are you?
I'm exhausted. How are you?
Oh, not as exhausted as you because I don't have a kid.
Yeah, I also have vertigo currently.
Ugh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I feel like I took the meds for it, and so they made me very, very sleepy last
The
night.
worst.
And so
Ugh.
it's been, a full 12 hours and I'm still like drugged.
One of my doctors told me, and this is just, the conspiracy against women in medicine, that like they don't dose those meds. Like, how can a 250-pound man get the same sleeping pill dose as a 150-pound woman?
That makes a lot of sense because they change it based on toddler size. So,
Yeah.
like, why?
Why is the adult dose 50 milligrams for me and 50 milligrams for a man who's 100 pounds more than me? Or
Right.
even like hormonally speaking, some drugs stay longer in a woman's system.
Oh,
You know,
interesting. I
I've,
believe it because I am
yeah,
like
yeah.
so
That's
out of it.
my doctor was like. They just prescribe, especially like sleeping pills like trazodone, and which is a mild sedative, but like uh, any of the really heavy hitters, just women will wake up 8 hours later and still be, and then they go to work and they're driving their cars to work and it's dangerous,
Oh
and
my
they don't have any
God.
idea that they're just drugged up.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
had to ask Joe. I usually drive Charlie in the morning, and I was like, I can't. There's no way.
yeah.
So
Well, good. I'm glad you didn't.
I
But yeah.
know. I think I'm coming off of it, but
Well, just in time for tonight
exactly.
to go to sleep. Yeah. Well, I hope it helps. I hope they figure out what's vertigo's awful.
Yeah. So if I'm like slurring my words, that's why.
Okay, good to know. Well, yeah.
I'm
Do
not
you want to
like
go?
drunk. I'm just drugged.
I was going to say, should we just go pour a glass of wine?
Oh yeah, that would not help.
No, I'm gonna
But you
say
could.
you're off the sauce for a while.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Greening Up My Act,
Yes.
where we mostly deal with the other problems of the world. Although we do we do talk about feminist issues like the medical
Take them up.
system. Yep.
Right.
But in reality, we're devoted. Well, not in reality. In this podcast, we are devoted to the tenets of green living and how we as individuals can make a difference in climate change and global
Pollution.
warming and pollution, even though we do believe ultimately is the responsibility of the corporations that are causing the most damage, we
Yes.
can do our best to support companies that are mitigating the damage at least, and hopefully reduce or eliminate our own contributions to these things. So we review products and services every week and then rate them on a system of 1 to 5 granolas, 5 being crunchy, break your tooth off. Well, the crunchiest, so break your tooth off is the crunchiest, and 1 being soggy because soggy granola is gross, and we're good hippies and we like crunchy granola. And then this is all based on whether or not they actually work, so their effectiveness and efficiency, their cost, because if only millionaires can afford to be green, then we're all going to die, and
Yes.
their practicality, as well as their actual eco impact. So if it's something that doesn't actually do the thing it says it's supposed to do in terms of green, eco friendliness, then we call it green hooey. And
Yes.
we throw it. We don't throw it in the trash. We recycle it or compost it,
We throw it out.
or we upcycle it or reuse it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Reuse it
Mm-hmm.
and reduce and don't buy it in the beginning.
Right. We don't buy it in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are 2 marketing writers, so we are able to look through the marketing fluff and the greenwashing and just see what the reality is.
Right. And
So,
we're
because these
readers and
companies love to throw
oh
around
my
big
gosh.
words like compostable, biodegradable.
Oh yeah.
Compostable is
Natural.
different, but
Yeah.
natural, eco-friendly,
Mm-hmm. Green.
green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We know better.
Yeah.
And also, we're big readers, so we do all this research, so you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Let the nerds do it.
Yes.
So what are we nerding out about this week?
Okay, so this one I'm super pumped about, even in my drugged up state. So we're talking about Mill. Have you heard of this?
I have not. I'm excited.
Okay, so this is funny because I was marketed this product on Instagram and I was like, huh, what is Mill? I'm
You're a target
sure,
market. Yay.
yes, I know. I'm sure that other people have seen it, but it's basically a home kitchen. They call it a kitchen bin, but
Oh, wait, I have seen this. Okay, yes.
I'm sure, yes. So it's sort of like a replacement for home composting. And I was like, so I really wanted to talk about home composting because I wanted to try it. And I was like, huh, is this a product that is worth my money and my
Hmm.
time?
Hmm.
So it's really interesting because it comes from startup people. So some people who worked for Google Nest created
Oh,
this.
really?
Yes, and I will say, honestly, it shows.
Oh, well, okay. So that's kind of like when we talked about Ridwell, and it was kind of the same thing where it's like he is in marketing, so he was a tech marketer, and so
Yes,
you can see
but
it.
I
Okay.
think Ridwell did a much well, I don't wanna give away the spoiler, but Ridwell did a really good job, and I'm not necessarily sure that this is the same status, same
All
level.
right. Well, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So, okay, well, I can just get into my sources
Sure.
real quick. I didn't use a million like normal, so this is good. So I used the Mill website, obviously. There was a review of Mill from Honestly Modern. They do, oh my gosh, this woman, I think it's just a woman running this by herself, but this website is amazing. I
Oh.
have to shout it out because she's kind of doing a lot of the stuff we're trying to do. And she does a great job with it. Like she does all the research behind all those sorts of things. So got to shout her out. She reviewed kitchen composters and Mill. So I used a couple of her
Is she
reviews.
is she our new Saint Nancy?
I think so,
Oh.
maybe.
Second
She's our
Nancy.
American. I think she's American. I might be making that up. I don't know. I just
Looks like her
assumed.
name is Jen.
There you go.
Saint Jen
St. Jen.
of the honestly modern. Okay.
Yeah, she did a really good job. And then there was a Slate review of Mill, just a product review. The EPA talks about food waste in landfills, and also they have a food recovery hierarchy chart
Woo.
that I
Okay.
used. The USDA talks about industrial composting facilities, and there's a UCLA study on carbon sequestration, which we'll get into. And also, I looked into this. This is the part that I'm really excited about. But I looked into the city of Tacoma, their food waste program,
Ooh,
because Tacoma partnered with Mill, and I was like, huh, I want to know
that's
more
a
about what
partnership.
they
Oh, yeah.
have without Mill. So we'll get into that for sure. All right. So Mill, what the heck is it?
Yes.
It is okay. This is just so funny to me. It's a in-home electric food bin that you keep it in your kitchen and it dehydrates your food scraps. So it's a startup created by Google Nest alums Harry Tannenbaum and Matt Rogers.
Okay.
It's I would say the thing is gigantic. I mean, compared to what you think of, it's big. It's like a standard trash can size. And coming from someone whose kitchen is the size of 2 postage stamps, that's way too big for me. But other people might be able to fit it. So you throw in your food scraps, and presumably you can throw in anything food wise, even bones and cheese and meat and all these things that you can't compost at your house, like
Right.
outside. And then you press a button and it turns the scraps into dried food. And the bin functions to every night. Well, you can do it every night to
Hmm.
they call it de-smellify and dehydrate the food.
Okay.
So it's
That's
basically it's not advertised as a composter though, which is smart of
interesting.
them
Yeah.
because it's not really compost, but people think of it that way. So
Oh,
that's the hard thing.
is it hooey? No, I won't say that yet.
We're
I
gonna
won't
get
say it's
into it.
hooey. I won't say it's hooey.
We'll find out. And then the cool idea that they have, which is different than other, because this product kind of exists. There's a couple other options, but you actually take those food scraps that you make and you mail them back to mill.
Oh,
Such a
cool.
long pause. I was like,
You mail them back.
you
Okay.
mail them back. So, yes,
Okay.
because the plan is to turn it into chicken food and send it to farms. And so
Um,
their plan is to make this whole thing closed loop, which we talked about closed loop um, last week, or not last week. I think when we were talking about plastics, but it's basically, how do you describe it? It's basically so you aren't wasting. It's like a concept for stopping waste.
okay. It's
So, yeah, so the
okay.
idea is to turn it into chicken food, send it to farms, chickens eat it, and then it doesn't go into the landfills. Um, but this is future tense. So that is the plan
Okay,
in
wait.
the future.
So are they just like storing it in a warehouse somewhere?
I don't know, but what it
Does
says on their
anyone?
website, I mean, I think they
Okay.
have to be because it's currently operating. You can sign up, you have to get on a wait list. So I don't know how many bins are actually out there, but there are bins out there. And you can send your food scraps in. So I don't know where they're putting them right now, but apparently they don't go bad. I don't know. Because on the
Wow.
website it says currently we're working through the necessary scientific and regulatory processes to establish a safe and nutritious chicken feed ingredient that we can distribute commercially. We'll share more on our progress later this year. So these
Okay.
folks are building the damn plane as it flies.
I was like, shouldn't that have been done before you started collecting my dehydrated food scraps too? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is very Google sounding. You're right. That is like,
Right?
let's build
Very
a thing.
startup.
Yeah. And like, hey, maybe they won't mind if we use all of their data and likenesses. And, it's like, wait a minute, what are you doing with my, like,
Yeah,
it's going
who
to end up
knows?
at the end. They're like, we
Right.
actually didn't develop food scrap. This is Soylent Green. Soylent Green is not people, though. It's people's food scraps. Like,
No, exactly. It's going to be like Theranos. Like, oh
yeah,
no, drop of blood can definitely
yeah.
get you all of the things. And then you're like,
It's
what?
just a
I
warehouse
don't know.
full
These
of
are all
trash.
speculations. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. And they probably are really trying. But, right
What?
now it's like they just built this really pretty bin. So it is pretty. It's like this apple white, like Apple,
Yeah.
the company,
It's clean.
wood
Yeah.
grain lid. There's an app, of course, but their
So you can
impact,
monitor your dehydration process from your office if you feel like
yeah,
it.
from your bed.
Oh, honey, I forgot to dehydrate the chicken food. Okay, great. We can do it from bed. Could you turn in the lights down too? Hey, Google,
Yes.
dehydrate food.
Yeah. So I just found that so fascinating. Because obviously from Instagram, you would never know that it's not actually fully functioning in the way in the way it implies.
Right.
So, if you look at their I found these things on their FAQ. You often have to look at the FAQ on the website. So to
Dig a little
find
deep.
the
Okay.
truth,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ugh.
So
Just, I'm like, wait. You mail them? They don't even have like a. Okay.
right.
Okay. I'm just wrapping my head around this.
I know. It takes a minute. Okay, so while you wrap your head around it, so there are other similar electronics that are kitchen composters. And I think these are, don't quote me on this, but I think these are possibly marketed as actual composters, even though it's not really a composter, but they're called Lomi and the Food Cycler. Those are the two other ones. And
Okay.
according to our new patron saint, Honestly Modern, Jen, we're gonna have to tag her and be like, "We love you."
We love you.
Uh, these all of these options are limited in the ways that you can use the dirt, quote unquote, because it's not technically compost. It's, as mentioned, dehydrated food scraps. And it sounds like you create so much. Like, imagine all of the scraps of food that you throw away and you're creating this dirt every day, whatever. You create so much that it's hard to use it all.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Hence the mill subscription. I think that was sort of the goal. Their goal is to create this subscription, trying to solve for what the heck to do with all of this quote unquote compost that's created. It's just unfortunate that they haven't quite figured out how to do that yet. But anyway, we'll come back to that. So mill, as mentioned, is an alternative to home composting. And I wanted to back up a bit and figure out exactly why home composting or composting in general is a good thing, because to be honest, I didn't know. And
Okay.
I
Fair.
feel like a lot of people are probably in the same boat.
Well, yeah, it's like recycling. It's like we're supposed to do it, but we don't know really how or why or what. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So that's 1000% where I was, and I found some really interesting stuff. So, what the heck is compost to start with? It is a because honestly, I've never used compost in my garden, even that I buy from a store. I probably should, but I never have. Have you?
Makes. Yeah, I've used some composted. Yeah,
Okay.
we have some
I
from
mean, I
my.
think it's very good for your soil, but
Yeah,
so it's
my
a
for the
yeah, go
record,
ahead.
my roommate just takes his coffee grounds and puts them on his tomatoes. So
Okay, there's all these magic tricks you can do like that
yeah,
that
yeah,
either help or kill. I don't know.
yeah.
I would
Can't
definitely
remember
kill
which.
everything,
Yeah, we haven't
but
had a single tomato all summer, but I think that's because it's been 105 degrees. But
well, yeah, you've been living in absolute hell. So,
yeah, yeah,
my
it's
god, and it's not better yet, is it?
no, it's 107 all week,
Oh my god.
and
Yeah, my friend lives there too. So
yeah, yeah.
it's
Anyway,
August 8th and it's been what, 3 weeks of 100-degree?
for we just I think
Jesus Christ.
we a few days ago we tied the record for most consecutive days over 100 in a row,
Oh,
and it was 27 at the time, so we just hit 28. So I think we're at
jeez.
31 days in a row of over 100.
So you're blowing past the record, and that is not
Yep, yeah.
a thing to brag about.
No, not a good record. And we haven't had rain in 2 weeks, so
Ugh,
everything's dead. Yeah.
that
Anyway, I
sucks.
live in hell. I do. I know, and everybody's like, "Ha ha ha, Las Vegas is." I'm like, "Yeah, Las Vegas was prepared for it. Our grid just shuts down, you know.
Right.
We're not."
Yeah, my friend Blair said that the sun the sun wakes up every day and chooses violence.
That is exactly what it feels like.
I was like, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah. Yeah, we were at 30 days in a row yesterday. So today was 31.
Ugh. All right.
Yep.
Well, for the love of God, hopefully it ends soon. Um,
Well,
I know. I know. But I mean, that's why compost is important. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah. Yes,
Question
okay. I mean that's exactly it. Yeah, okay.
question mark. Yeah. So, all right. So to create a less hellish future,
Yes.
you can add compost to regular soil to increase the nutrients rather than using industrial fertilizers.
Okay.
So, yes,
That's great.
it's good for the dirt.
Yeah.
And it's created by combining organic material. So you're going to combine food scraps, wood, leaves, grass clippings, and you let it just sit there. Mother Nature takes over. It gets super hot. These worms, I think this was in Nancy's book because I use Nancy's book as a reference. Oh, did I put that here? I might not have. Oopsie.
Edit.
Yes, I used Clean and Green, her or no, actually I think it was her other one about gardening, but I'll add the link. And she says that worms just come, like a specific type of worm comes because they know that it's time to eat, and they
Yeah,
come and break it
earthworms.
all down for you.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
I mean, nature is neat.
It truly is. So, yes. So I found from the EPA the food recovery hierarchy graph that I mentioned,
Okay.
and it's basically like an upside down food pyramid.
Yeah, okay.
And they say, all right, so the interesting thing about this was that composting was pretty low on the hierarchy. So it was actually just right above landfill. So it starts at source reduction. Go figure. So
Yeah.
number
Well, yeah.
one thing you
Reduce.
can
Yeah.
do, reduce the volume of surplus food generated. So you have Mill coming in here, marketing themselves as if they're solving something, but they're actually like way like one, two, three, four, 5 steps down on the pyramid
Mm-hmm.
instead of solving it way higher at the pyramid, which would be much more effective. The second one is feed hungry people, then feed animals, which, okay, technically they're number 3 if they do figure it out. They're feeding animals, right?
Yeah.
Chickens.
Okay.
So if they do figure it out, then okay, more power to them. That's fine. Okay, so that's composting in terms of how effective it is or how helpful, impactful it is. But it does help. This was the most interesting thing. And you might already know this, but I didn't know. And I wish I had known a couple episodes ago. But composting significantly reduces methane emissions compared to landfills. And how? I did not fully understand this. But according to the EPA, microbes that produce methane are not present if there's oxygen around during decomposition.
So it's the turning of like the thing with landfills is that it just gets piled
There's
on
no
top.
oxygen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and it just rots like lower and lower and lower. But
Yeah. And
with
so because it's
composting, you
deprived
turn
of
it.
oxygen, that's why the methane is produced in landfills.
Interesting.
I didn't know this.
I didn't either. I mean, I don't really understand the biological factors that go into and chemical that go into decomposition. So,
Yeah. But that
huh?
was really interesting because I was like, oh, that's why. Because I always hear about methane, but I'm like, but if, it's still decomposing.
Compost.
So
Yeah,
what's the difference? And that's the difference.
it's oxygen.
Yeah. You
Well,
need
there you go.
you
We
need
weren't meant
air.
to put things in plastic bags and throw them in landfills.
And then pile tons of other things on top.
Yeah,
Turns
tires.
out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah. So that was really interesting. Another thing that it might help do, it's not really proven yet, is compost might help sequester carbon, which just means that it takes carbon out of the air and puts it back into the soil.
Which I
Um,
think, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
yes, it does kind of make sense. I found a UCLA study that says there's not enough definitive research to prove that this actually happens, but it's possible.
Fair. Yeah. Okay. I
Um,
could see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then using compost helps reduce the need for chemical fertilizers, promotes higher yield crops. It enhances water retention in the soil, which is really big, especially if you're not getting very much rain.
Hello, Texas. Yeah.
It can help reforestation and wetlands restoration. Instead of becoming compost, meal will become chicken food, which is a different outcome, although theoretically could be better than compost if it actually gets there.
Right.
Um, so a bit about food waste. We're gonna gloss over this
Yes,
because
because that's my next
my
episode.
God. Oh yes, that's true. Okay, so I will just say, like, food waste as mentioned, when it rots without oxygen, it produces methane that is 80 times more powerful of a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide.
Hmm.
So it's not good to have in the air.
Right.
And even if this is from the EPA, even if fossil fuel emissions were halted, like stopped completely, donezo today, current trends in the food system would prevent the achievement of our goals for like not killing ourselves.
Right.
Food loss and waste represent 8% of man made greenhouse gas emissions.
Wow.
8%. That's a lot.
I would say one place quoted 11% in what I was reading too. But yeah.
Okay.
So but I think 8% is typically the number they say. Yeah.
Okay. And then I found one thing that was interesting that I found is that I think this was the EPA also. They said that roughly half of food is wasted during the consumption stage. So, like households or food services.
Yeah.
And the most common wastes are fruits and vegetables and dairy and eggs.
Makes sense.
It does. The fruits and vegetables definitely make sense. I was kind of
Yeah.
surprised about the dairy and the eggs, but maybe because they
do go. I mean, I think it's like I'll get a quart of milk or something, and like I have a latte a day, so it's not like I don't have kids that are drinking milk all the time, and so it's really
right.
easy for me to have milk go bad.
Yeah. That's why I buy organic milk, but
Yeah, it lasts longer.
So, okay, so back to Mill. The interesting thing is that Mill has a lot of these stats on its website, but Mill isn't necessarily a solution to food waste. We will get into that in a minute. Well, we're kind of already gotten into it, but
Yeah.
So back to Mill. How easy is it to use? Because I kind of wanted to examine this as a product, right? Apparently, it's as easy as filling it with whatever and pressing the button, and it works overnight.
Okay. Like
Yeah,
any food.
apparently. Even
Okay.
soup. I think someone threw soup in, and it worked.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Can I throw a cup of water in my dehydrator? Okay. Yes.
I found it a little nuts, but we'll get into why if you do use Mill, you don't want to do that later. But yeah, that's an option.
Okay. Okay.
So, does Mill work? Technically, yes. So the Slate review called it a kick-ass kitchen experience, which just sounds so startup-y.
Or paid marketing. Yeah. I'm
Well,
like, hey.
I mean, yes. So for the Slate review, they sent her a Mill kitchen bin, and
Okay.
she
And she's
reviewed
like,
it.
hooray. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying she's biased or anything because it is very pretty. It is very easy to use. It functions. You don't smell your food apparently. I mean, it does what it says it's supposed to do. So does it work overall? No, not yet because the system isn't figured out
Right.
yet.
It's not like it might work at your house, but it's not going to it's not going to chickens.
Yes.
It's not being composted.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it still needs FDA approval, and as of April 2023, it looks like they hadn't gotten it yet. So unless something's changed in the meantime, I don't think they have it yet. So the whole product seems to focus more on the tech side of things than the closed loop system, which, to be honest, I'm not really that surprised about, but it is a little disappointing.
Well, and it feels kind of wish cycly, you know?
Yes.
It's just another way for Americans to get trash out of sight, out of mind.
Right. And it costs money. I'll get into that. So it's not free.
Okay.
So even if they closed the loop, I'm still not convinced the product would be worth it. But mostly because we can't, recycle our way out of this problem. Like you said,
No.
We can't wish cycle our way out. So
yeah.
Okay, so how much does it cost? It is. Do you want to hazard a guess? Because I don't think it's not like insane, but I'm just curious what you would guess.
Is it as much as like we were talking about? Ridwell is like the same. Well, Netflix went up, so it's $16 a month. Is it like
It's more than that.
25?
A little more.
Really? It's $30?
33 per month. But that's when you pay annually. So
it's more than that if you pay by the month.
Yes. So that's $396 per year.
Holy crap.
Yes.
Okay, it's 45.
45. Okay, so it's $33 per month when you pay annually, which is the cheaper option, and then you get the free bin delivery. If you pay monthly, it's $45 per month, and then you also have to pay a $75 bin delivery. And you must have the membership, so you can't just buy the bin. You have to send the food, or at least you don't have to send them, but you have to pay to send them the food scraps back, so you might as well.
Okay.
So It's a little bit ridiculous, in my opinion. Because how much did you say Ridwell was again? 16?
14.
14. 14. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and that's they don't take food though. But yeah.
Well, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get into a little bit more of like, yeah, why this is a little absurd. Okay, this is kind of the crazy part. The Slate review says that Mill could save you on the cost of your garbage if your city or your location charges based on how much you throw out. And
Okay.
the review says that Tacoma, the review uses Tacoma as their example. And I found out that Tacoma and Mill did a little partnership. Some cities like to do that. And
Interesting. Yeah.
so they do. Tacoma, I think, does charge based on how much, how how many bags of garbage you have. But according to Tacoma's website, like their city's website, it says, quote, Tacoma provides food and yard waste service at no extra cost as part of your monthly garbage bill. Customers can request up to 2 90-gallon brown food and yard waste bins at no extra cost. A third food and yard waste bin can be requested for an additional $3 a month.
Okay. Well.
So what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I'm like, why would anybody pay $45 a month if they get it for free?
Right. Well. Yeah. I mean, I get it if you're in a place that doesn't do composting at all, like no city
Yeah.
collection. Okay, that makes sense. And even then, that's hefty. I feel like there's got to be other programs in your city, like some farm has got to be willing to take, But
Yes. And actually, honestly, Modern suggested that sort of thing. Like you
okay,
could, even if there's nothing, you can ask a farm if they want your food scraps for their
yeah,
chickens because they might.
yeah, or for their compost heap. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. Or your
yeah,
neighbors. Oh, we'll get into this. We'll get
yeah,
into
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was
Other
gonna say, yeah,
options.
when I
Yeah.
had bunny rabbits, because bunny waste is completely compostable and actually really, really good.
Oh,
Um,
wow. I had no idea.
People would ask for the bunny waste.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like dog poop is the absolute worst.
No, you
So
cannot use dog poop as
what the
compost.
heck?
You can't put it in your bin. You do not want it in your garden. It is too full of bacteria. Yeah.
Freaking dogs. Why do we have dogs as pets? I'm going through it with my dog right now. So
I can't go. I'm sorry. I'm like mine is. I just heard him jangle his collar outside my door, so I
mine
love
is
him.
cute. So yeah,
Yeah,
no, my dog's cute too. She's just a pain in my ass right now.
I get you. I hear you. It's
Yeah.
fine.
So okay. So there's all that. And I was so confused. I'm still confused about the Tacoma thing. It feels pretty misleading, but hey, that's just my take.
Yeah.
So is Mill actually eco-friendly? Honestly, Modern, my new favorite hero,
Our sweet angel.
a sweet angel. She says, quote, for the majority of people, an electric kitchen composter is a waste of money, more greenwashed than green, and is not the best way to compost at home.
Green hooey. Okay.
Not to mention there are more emissions created and packaging
Right.
from mailing in your food scraps in a subscription box.
I was gonna say, like, how do they? Like, how do you get past that?
Yeah, because that's the thing with Ridwell. Ridwell partners with
Right. And they're
local
not. Yeah,
companies.
and they pick it up from your door. They do
Mhm.
one neighbor. It's your whole neighborhood in one day. So they're not like. I mean, I get it, and they're using reusable bags. So you get like a paper.
Oh.
I didn't point that out last time. You're not like packaging it up. They give you a canvas bag that they then wash and reuse.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah, I think this one, I don't know if I wrote this down anywhere, but I think it comes in one of those like recyclable plastic bags.
sure,
Which, if you listen to our plastic recycling episode, is
green hooey all the
BS.
way.
Yes, green
The
hooey.
essence of green hooey. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So, yes.
I don't like it.
Yeah, so the EPA says, like, yes. The EPA, if the EPA could review mill, they would say something to the extent of environmental impact savings, basically lowering your environmental impact, can only be achieved through prevention or source
Yes.
reduction of food loss
Yes.
and waste. Recycling of food waste cannot achieve these benefits since a substantial fraction of the impacts occur during the primary production of food.
Okay. Yes. We need Dole to quit overproducing food,
Mm-hmm.
and we need people and grocery stores to quit throwing it away.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. The bin also uses electricity.
Right. Did we mention that? I was going to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't come with its own Tesla battery. It's not like solar powered or wind powered. It's
No.
just straight out of your coal power plant in West Virginia, wherever you live.
No, and Mill on its website says that it's about the same amount of energy per day as an energy efficient dishwasher. But as mentioned before, it depends on what you're scrapping.
So soup, for instance, would
Soup.
take longer.
It's going to take longer and take a lot more energy.
I just really like the idea of throwing your chicken noodle soup in your.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. A lot of people just really want it to
Yeah,
do.
just get it out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame them, right? Like everybody.
Wish composting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I'm calling this green hooey for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Mill claims that they are partnering with USPS to ship food grounds because they're already visiting almost. Okay, this is the other thing. USPS is already visiting almost every house every day.
Yeah.
And since mill households will, on average, send just one box of food grounds every few weeks, USPS vehicles will have the capacity to manage the load.
Let's just give the USPS one more job to do because, they're not underfunded or understaffed or overworked. Hey, could you pick up our food trash?
Yeah.
A
Well,
literal box of trash.
right. Well, okay. At least it doesn't smell, but
I
yes.
guess. I mean, but still at the same time, could you imagine, like, I don't know. It's kind of a slap in the face, too. It's like, I just had all this food. I just couldn't eat it. So I put it in my dehydrator and then put it in a box and I'm shipping it off to be eaten by chickens. Can you take care of that for me, Sam? Like, it just feels so disconnected from how
Yeah,
the
I
world
bought
really
too much
works.
organic kale from the farmer's
I
market.
just couldn't eat all of it.
Which, hey, so do I. I mean, I do that all
I
the
mean,
time. So.
yeah, I do it too, but like, and I also pay $45 a month to have it, like, so I don't have to, so I can keep doing this and not worry
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is.
Boo,
They're
boo,
also
rich
kind of
people.
saying, like, their main point about the USPS thing is that they're already coming to every house, so the emissions don't really count.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I
Oh,
guess.
thanks. Yeah.
They
I
don't
mean,
come to my house every day. That's for dang sure.
well, they drive past. I mean, they do my whole neighborhood. So if I have mail,
Yeah.
they come to my house. But yeah, it's like they're not picking. I don't know. That would be it'd be nice if they would say, and we're going to subsidize the USPS because Amazon already does that. They use the USPS, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh, because Jeff Bezos can't afford to like pay drivers. Like, frick,
Right. No, you're
rubble,
right.
rubble,
You're
rubble.
totally right about that.
Like, yeah, let's already put it on our stressed federal infrastructure.
Right. And maybe if if it takes off, it could create a lot more.
Right. And it's not like they're going to get more federal funding.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that bothers me.
Yeah, I
That
get that.
bothers me. I
I
mean,
fully
it does make
agree.
sense. It sounds cute, but it's like, are you contributing to the USPS or just
Mm-hmm.
like, I think that's one thing I like about Ridwell. They're not like, and then we have the overworked US postal worker pick up your trash. Like,
Exactly. And that's actually honestly Modern made that exact point that we should be shipping, if we're going to be doing this, we should be shipping it to local farms,
yeah,
just like Ridwell.
yes.
They figured it out. You can figure it out too.
Yeah, do a little legwork. It does sound very startup-y.
Yes,
Like,
it
oh, we
does.
solved this problem. No, you didn't.
Yeah, we're saving the world. Oh, wait.
Not at all. Yeah. Okay. Well, that
Yeah.
makes me. I'm kind of angry.
I know. I was a little bit too. I found it really interesting. Um Okay, so the one other problem is that Slate, the reviewer for Slate obviously really liked this product, but
Okay. Yeah.
they said you don't have to use it forever. Try it for a few months, get in the habit of doing something with food besides chucking it in the trash, which is exactly what you're doing, but that's fine. Then switch to whatever strategy works best in your region and for your life. And the problem is that you have to ship this huge bin back to them.
That's so insane to me.
So you get this bin shipped to you, and they do take the bins back. So they are at least claiming responsibility for the life cycle of the bins. But they don't yet, it sounds like they don't yet have a plan for what to do with the bins, the used bins. I'm sure they could find I think it says that they're developing plans for working with nonprofits or something. Like they could find something to do with them, and you could probably sell a cheaper bin for whatever, for a reduced subscription price, whatever. But yeah, it's big, and it's shipping, packaging, it's all the things. So try for a couple
Right.
months, ship it the whole thing back to them. Like what? Um
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it would 1000% encourage people to throw food away rather than actively trying to reduce their food waste.
Yeah.
So my rating is dun, 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 dun.
Here comes the granola rating, everyone.
Yeah, so TLDR / granola rating section. We rate, as we mentioned, rate everything. It's either soggy, sticky, chewy, crunchy, or break your tooth off. You want it to be as crunchy as possible. This one, I'm going to say sticky, which is a number 2. So 2 out of 5.
Okay. So it's not
Because
soggy. Uh-huh.
not soggy, which maybe you could argue with me, but there's not a local solution, so it requires a lot of shipping and packaging. It's not a closed loop yet. It's truly, because it's not a closed loop yet, it makes me want to make it soggy, but it solves the problem at the bottom of the pyramid rather than the top, and it fails to encourage people to reduce their food waste, and in fact might do the opposite.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with you. I think it's similar to I had a similar rating to fast fashion, Thread Love. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or Thread
thread up.
Up, not Thread Love,
Yeah.
Thread Up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it just maybe it's a green band-aid, you know?
Yeah. I
It's like a
like
green
that.
hooey band-aid. Yeah, it's like a just kind of covers up the problem rather than actually solving it.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's a bummer. But I'm just so like this is such a San Francisco,
Yeah, I
you know.
know. Such a Google Nest thing to do.
I
I don't know.
usually like Google. I think they have innovative products and stuff, but sometimes yeah, it's just like
Yeah, I
what
actually
bubble
like
do
my
you live
Nest.
in? Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Nest.
But
I mean, it's a little
these
creepy
people
sometimes.
aren't, and I think they do have like a don't I'm not sure this is true, but I think they have like a board of, people who are actually experts in food waste and
Okay. Well, I
whatever.
mean, I just wish it was finished. I wish it was like they just
Yes.
took the product to market. It's like those pictures they have where it's like a drawing of a horse and it starts, it's like really detailed. And then at the end, it's just like a kindergartner drew it because they were rushed to finish. That's what this feels like. They started this really detailed idea
Totally.
and then they had to sell it. And it's like popsicle sticks and cotton
Yeah,
balls
it
glued
kind of
together.
makes you wonder like what it's like to work at the company. It's probably
I mean,
insane.
you know what? Maybe this is kind of a pilot. I mean, how many do they say how many people they have?
They didn't say that I could
Okay.
find.
Or how many cities I mean, it's any city
Yeah,
with post I mean, that's one thing. It's any you could do it from Montana as easily as you could do it from
yeah,
New York.
right,
So, that's nice.
right. Yeah, it's they didn't say, but and there is like a wait list. I have no idea how long the wait list is though. So,
Okay. Well,
but they do say that they're sending more out all the time, so they're definitely out there.
I mean, it again, it makes us as Americans feel better about how much shit we waste.
Mhm. So,
Uh,
I wanted to look into other options for home
oh, yeah,
composting
yeah, yeah.
because it's like, what do we do instead of
Yeah.
this pretty but dumb product?
Maybe
Uh,
it's probably the wave of the future, and then the city will start offering it in a couple months.
yeah, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
So, one really cool thing I found was a local option that sort of like I mentioned, like we were saying, like find local composting options. There's this website called Share Waste,
Okay.
and it's a website where you can search for local home composters or chicken owners, and they basically sign up to become a host, and you can also sign up to become a host, and you can bring your food scraps there. So they
Oh,
volunteer to accept other people's food scraps. And I looked and there were several in my area, at least probably 10.
okay. Wow.
So that was
Well,
pretty
yeah.
cool. So it's like your neighbor, if you don't even know them, they might be willing to take your food scraps for their compost bin. So,
That's cool. Yeah.
mhm.
That
Um,
and I feel like that's like a really local solution. Yeah.
yes, I love it. And also I feel like it would create more community because you would meet
Yes.
your
It's like
neighbors.
the Buy Nothing group. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
But for
exactly.
compost.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I love that.
Throw nothing out.
Yeah. Throw no food scrap. No food scrap left dehydrated. I don't know.
No food scrap left wet.
Yeah. Gross. Soup.
There's
Bring
their
over a
next that's
giant
their
thing of
next,
soup. Yeah.
the next iteration, that's definitely gonna be the name. Um, there's also in a lot of places, like, in my area, they do this curbside compost pickup, but my house is just outside of the pickup
Uh,
area, which you have compost pickup.
I do. Because I live in the magical city of Austin. So,
Yes. But if your government doesn't offer it, like, you don't have that option, you can check for a local pickup company. I think this is a private company in Pennsylvania and Delaware. There's one called Wastewell, and they do basically exactly that. And you pay, I don't know, some amount of money. I don't remember it being exorbitant, but I looked that up in my area and I see 5 companies that
oh
actually
wow.
offer that. Yeah. So that's an option.
Yeah.
Um
Again, the carbon footprint concerns me somewhat, but again, if they're just doing one car per neighborhood, it's probably better than 40 people trucking it out to a farm or something,
right.
right?
Yeah. Well, and that's my next next option is you take it to your drop-off site, which is an option for me. We
Yeah.
have a facility that will actually process this stuff, and there are apparently 4,700 facilities in the United States, according to the USDA.
Oh,
Um, the nice thing is that you can bring bioplastics a lot of the time. So that's like your
the
plant,
compostable forks and
yes,
things.
like
Yeah.
your plant-based boxes and stuff like that.
Okay.
And mine also accepts meat and bones. They accept pizza boxes, wooden chopsticks, paper towels that don't have chemicals or cleaning products,
No Windex.
and lots of cool things like that. So I was like, that's,
That's cool.
yeah.
I just looked up, yeah, mine like in Austin, and I didn't know that I could recycle chicken bones and or not recycle, but compost
Uh
chicken
huh.
bones and pizza boxes. So
Yeah.
that's
So
great
that's,
news to me. Yeah.
yeah, that's really cool. And those things aren't super disgusting. So I feel like you could pretty easily take them without it being like super gross in your car.
Yeah, or tissues, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
soup. It's not a bucket of
Soup.
soup.
5-gallon bucket of just sloshing
just,
soup.
just find that very fun.
You
Like
just hand it to
spoiled 5-day-old soup. Yeah.
I imagine handing it to them. They're like,
You're like, I'm sorry, I didn't
thank
have time to dehydrate it. God, soup.
yeah. So I really need to start doing this. I want to start doing it. But the other thing I started doing, which was really fun, and I'm slightly obsessed with it, is I just set up finally my home compost system. Because if you have space in a little yard or space in, I have a big yard, too big. I'm not bragging. I hate it, but
How dare you?
it's, well, it's like just yard. There's the lady before us cut down all the trees and I still want to cry about it. So
Yeah.
we're
Mm.
trying to help it. But anyway, um, yeah, there's a lot of different options. Mine was really easy to set up. It's from GeoBin. We can link it, and it was $35.99 on Amazon. I actually didn't buy it. My county provides it. There's like it's at the library. It's a Master Gardeners program, but they give them away for free. So look into that because you might be able to find one for free. And it is rudimentary at best, but it's totally functional. So like it's
So it
basic.
matters. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically just like a little cylinder. Well, it's not little. It's pretty big, but it's like a
A giant
cylinder
cylinder. Mm-hmm.
that you can actually choose the size. So that's kind of nice. But it's basically a little round cage for your compost, and it's open on top. It took about 10 minutes to set it up. So I really so far like it. I've already thrown in like some lettuce, some
Mm-hmm.
corn husks, some berries that went bad. I've thrown in and then tons of leaves and stuff, but it was really fun because I weeded my garden and I was like, oh, throw those in because apparently you
Yeah.
can throw weeds in. It's fine.
Yeah, we do grass clippings here too, and weeds. Yeah.
Yeah. And Nancy Birtwhistle has some
Sweet Nancy.
advice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she in her gardening book, she has some advice on composting, and it's basically this is the very not meat and potatoes version is that's not the right analogy. Anyway, it's like the very basic version, but it's like you have to separate. She calls it dry from wet,
Yes.
and a lot of places call it green from brown, but
Yeah.
she found that a little confusing, and so do I, because it's like something might actually be brown but actually be
Yeah.
green.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, her idea is like if it's fresh, like a fresh plant or something,
It's
or
what?
I don't know. She
Yeah.
separates it based on like dry. So dry is like your paper, your cardboard, your sticks, your wood chips, that type of thing, leaves, dead
Dried
leaves.
leaves. Dead leaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brown again, but
Yeah.
not always. But yeah.
And yeah, and then you just create layers. So I'm going at it like really haphazard. I'm not being particular about it, so we'll see where it goes.
Oh, I'm excited. That's the I learned that again because bunny rabbits. We used a like the litter that I would use was like made out of old newspapers.
Uh-huh.
So that's the dry, and then they pee onto that, which makes it wet, and then their poop is wet, and then they have hay, which is dry. So it's like the perfect compostable.
Whoa.
Bunny litter is the perfect compostable material.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Charlie loves
Anyway,
bunnies. Maybe we should get one.
wait till she's old enough to take care of it
I
because you don't.
kid. I
Yeah.
kid.
I will talk you out of getting a bunny.
Yeah.
They're great. I love them, but not for little children for sure.
Yeah, well, and not
You have
for
a
a
dog.
dog that kills bunnies.
Well, I don't know. My dog, he knew how to separate indoor from outdoor.
Oh, weird.
He
Mine,
used
I
to,
don't think would.
well, he
She's
grew up with them. Yeah.
okay. That
So
helps.
he
Yeah.
used to protect, like, if another dog came over, he'd get between the
Oh,
new dog
interesting.
and my
That's
bunnies. He's like, those are
cute.
my bunnies. Yeah.
Oh,
I never left them alone together,
yeah.
well, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. Composting is
Yeah, so
underdone.
there
Yeah.
are reasons. So home composting gets a break your tooth off. Just
Yes.
composting in general, great. But
Yes.
the mill bin, not so
Not so
great.
much.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Work needs work.
Finish the horse drawing.
Yeah, so that's all I have.
Well, that was great. Thank you for that. I do feel so. I did the research for next week, which I can talk about now. Next week, we're going to be
Mm-hmm.
talking about food waste and the ugly food movement.
Ooh.
And these dovetail very nicely because part of food waste is just how much how much food Americans throw away. So,
Yes.
yeah, you can't talk about food waste without talking about compost, and vice
Right.
versa. So,
Yeah,
I'm excited to get
exactly.
into that. But I just can't help but laugh at what a cute marketing effort the mill is, and
I know.
how unfortunate it is that it's not quite fully fleshed, I guess.
Yes. I can just picture employees sitting at their desk like, we have to launch this tomorrow.
Well, some venture capitalist is like, you guys got a
Yes.
product? It's like they're on us, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, yeah. Just takes a drop of blood. I mean, they can dehydrate soup.
Yep. Yep. All right.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you for listening, and
Yeah.
definitely leave us a review
Yes,
if
please.
you haven't yet, because that is very helpful.
It gets us
So
in front
just,
of more people.
yeah, so just scroll down wherever you're listening and just hit that 5-star button.
Yeah. Give us 5. Break your tooth off.
Yeah. I have nothing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm gonna try to think of a witty thing, but I got nothing.
all good. Feel better.
Yes, thank you.
I hope.
I made it, man. I did this.
You didn't. You didn't slur your words.
Yeah, not too many at least.
Awesome. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.